Welcome, everybody, to our Sunday Truth Talk. My name is Jona Bryndis. I'm an energy coach, an energy healer, and I help people with developing a new compass, a new roadmap for their life if they find themselves in a situation where they want to change something. And today I want to talk about how this law of attraction, right, that they all talk about, how this truly works. How do energies work? What is the true source of our manifestation power? It is, of course, number one, the consciousness that we all have, which is the witness or the observer in us that can see all these things, especially our false perceptions and where we're lying to ourselves and where we have all these narratives and all these justifications and negativity and so forth. And, it's not enough to just go in and do what we sometimes call psychic forensics, right? And explain to yourself why. Yes, the society. Yeah, my parents. Yes. But what does this mean? I mean, all the seeking causation, right? What are you really saying? I can't do this right now? This is what we do. It can help us to process our past a little bit, but then we have to let it go. We cannot move forward if we don't let it go. If we hold on to our past, we're recreating our past over and over because that's where our attention is. So everything that we justify, everything that we are in untruth with ourselves, then replicates into the future. We are causing it to not work in the future. Our consciousness allows us to observe that, to witness that. What else do we need? We need to understand how this works, how, this law of attraction, right, that they all talk about, how this truly works. How do energies work? Well, yes, this is a big part of my mission here, to help people understand the dynamics of energies on all these different layers of being, physically, emotionally, mentally, socially, spiritually, and the pure energetic view. Because once we understand how energies work, for example, once we understand that every unexpressed need or every need that isn't true, that gets projected, and when we project things instead of actually express them, then we also begin to absorb things from the outside. We are emanating it, we are sending it out, and as we are sending it out, we are attracting it back in. We're absorbing it. So we are literally, causing our own suffering. This is very hard for us to fully grasp, because that's where our misconceptions with responsibility come from, because that's why we're so afraid of making mistakes, because there's a part in us that kind of knows it, okay? And so we have this like obsession, okay, with not making mistakes, but we're not understanding really how the fear of that then replicates the fear, replicates the negativity about this, and how we are slowly giving away the power to others, to circumstances, to, well, most part, our false perceptions, our narratives, all the lies that we tell ourselves, the specialness, and so forth. So how can we take that power back? Well, the first thing we need to do is to stop the whole machine, because the moment you recognize that, there's a sort of some kind of error perception here, okay, the whole context gets falsified. We have to stop it. And then we have to diagnose. And how do we diagnose? Well, we learn from our antipathy. We learn from what we try to avoid, what we resist. We ask ourselves, what am I really resisting here? What am I not getting? Which of my needs are not met? What is it actually that I try to avoid? And yes, you can, somebody, I forgot who it was, commented on this earlier. You can ask yourself, what is this thought, this emotion, this action really expressing? What is this conflict that I have? What does it really mean? And what does it make me do? That needs to be stopped, because that is how we unconsciously manifest or re-manifest, if you will, the same cause. So you learn from the past. That's what the past is good for. That's what the processing of the past can help you with. It can show you through all your resistances really what it is that is not working. It can show you what not to do anymore. Okay, this is how we learn. This is how we activate the higher learning in us. And then we go into number 4, realigning into self-correcting. Okay, all right then. If this is my biggest fear, and if the source of all my wantingness, my desire, and, the drive is to avoid this, no wonder then that what I am manifesting is not really making me happy, because it's not based on what could make me happy. It's based on avoidance. It's based on not wanting to feel something, not wanting to be poor anymore, not wanting to have this inner conflict anymore, not wanting to suffer, not wanting to be alone, not wanting to feel pain or sadness, not wanting to seek anymore. Seeking is one of those big red flags that you are experiencing when you're resisting something. The opposite of inner peace is seeking. It's a form of seeking where you project something to the outside. Now, we all go in our own development and our own learning experiences through a phase of seeking. We seek truth, we seek wisdom, we seek love, but we don't really learn from it. We just keep seeking the same thing over and over. And if it doesn't work, we go harder and try more of the same. So we need to realize that there is a realignment that needs to take place. We need to adjust that. Well, then you could say, well, what if I don't know what I need to correct? What if I don't? Well, there's one thing you do know, and that is if you keep doing the same thing, you cannot expect different results. This is why I often recommend people to go backwards, okay? I mean, if you already know for sure what doesn't work, then just stop doing that, because your chances of success are higher if you stop doing, the very thing that sabotages you or that makes it harder for you. That could be your first step. Your first self-corrective measure would be to stop doing what you already identified as no good for you. It's not life promoting, it's not conducive, it's not expansive. That does not lead you to more truth, to more love, to more light. And you try new things. Yes, we have to try. And then you might say, well, but what if I make a mistake? You know what? It can't be worse than it was before. To do the same thing over and over again, even though the results aren't making you happy and not changing anything, is the worst thing you can do. So make mistakes by trying, okay? Explore and agree to that, embrace every learning experiences, because every experience is a mirror of what is conducive for you and what isn't. And then those of you who get past that fear of making mistakes, either through, the pain gotten so bad, that you couldn't take it anymore, and it kind of forced you to overcome your fear of the unknown, the source of all darkness in you, or you realizing that if you just keep doing that, it's just gonna get worse. Okay, and you stop it before this karma drama hits you in the face, and you actively stop and do something about it. Now we come to the last point here, namely, well, how can we do it? Well, there is already a false perception. It is not actually a doingness, as you can already tell. This isn't about doing. I mean, doing actions and, becoming more aware of your thoughts and so forth, all that is part of the process. But It is about being. You need to decide who you want to be. You need to know which part of you is doing the doing. And that is then the being. Who do you want to become? So you need to know what it is that you want, how you want it, how that feels, what this feels like, and be it already. Then you might say, well, how can I do this? My biggest fear is not to have money. How can I feel like and act like I already have money if I don't have money? Because you say, well, I can't do anything until I have money, but then I can change something about making money. And I say, well, no, you have to change this now so that you can have more money. So you need a reference feeling for what that feels like. And this can be transposed to love, to truth, to anything that you desire, provided that is a true heart's desire. It's got to be true, because if it's not true, it's a projection. But if it's true, what you desire, if it's a true intention, all right, then you go into that, how you want it to feel. Even say if you've never been rich before, you can do this by changing your focus, by focusing on all the things that work well, by appreciating all the things that are working really well. Because what is it actually that is behind you wanting to have money? You don't want to feel the pain of not having money, right? You want to not worry about money. That is what you really want. And what's underneath that is to feel peace about money. So you can make peace with money. You can change the attitude towards money or love or anything else. You know, it's all the same mechanisms here. I'm teaching you the mechanisms right now. You can do this right now. You can shift your focus away from the fear of not having money and the quarrel inside of you, the confliction inside of you, the resistance, the antipathy about not having money that comes from the fear. And shift that around and realign yourself and embody it right now. What is it that you guys would like to change in your life? The truest intention, the truest heart's desire that you have, that you would like to manifest, consciously manifest in your life. What we need to embody is that which we love, that which is true to us, that which adores, appreciates, and energizes that which works. So the way to do that is to stop energizing what doesn't work and to send a gratitude and appreciation, adoration almost, to everything that does work. And depending on our energetic state, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. It gets really hard when our energy is very, very low. And that's why we always begin with breath work, focusing on our breathing, because our breathing always works. And it is, the inspiration, the in breath of life and life force in us happens without our volition. It always works. In reality, we are all pulled forward by our future into our highest potential, and not, as our ego mind tries to make us believe, pushed forward by our past. This is, representative of the concept of syntropy, which is the opposite of entropy, that everything ultimately, runs towards its highest expression. And so do we, because that is what our consciousness comes from. That is what we are made out of. We're made out of the highest expression, come into 3D, incarnate here to learn how to overcome these limitations, learn to overcome, all these things that are holding us back, including our own mortality. Okay. And thus learn how to use, choose, and love and light. Yes, yes, these are exactly those resonances that do that. Know how to use them correctly to transmute. Just like the butterfly, that comes here as a little egg and, turns into this caterpillar and eats and eats and eats and makes experiences and then spins itself into its chrysalis and goes into integration of all of that and then emerges as its highest expression as the butterfly. That is what we are doing here. That is the universal law of life. Okay, and all we really need to do is to understand the mechanics of that. Okay, so to conclude, understand that the most beneficial, most conducive manifestation resonances are you taking your own energy management seriously, you understanding that your energy is precious, right, and that you need to take care of it, self-care, and that you need to do this in a self-motivated manner, all right, that you have to really understand what the choices are that you're doing, and you have to make them more conscious. And how can you do that? By applying your discernment, by applying your inner compass, your truth compass, okay? And by question, those blind beliefs that you have, the mindsets that are underneath, the hidden agendas, the true intentions, all right? Yes, be proactive. Do the shadow clearing all by yourself. You don't need to wait till the collective does that for you. Okay, then you just waiting for something to happen on the outside so that you can change. And all this really will validate and reconfirm is that you're a victim. So that is not an act of co-creation. That is toxic passivity and sheeple behavior. Okay, focus on appreciation, on all the things that are working really well, on all the things that you love. Do what you love what you do, okay? And find inner peace and understanding that this is, a transformation that will lead to you, moving forward, to you evolving, and also the whole entire planet here, the whole entire, not just us people, the whole entire planet. So the whole thing that we are off, okay? And the way this happens, guys, is through self-love, through self-selection, not the lower expression of that, which would be narcissism, the higher expression of self-love, which is compassion, empathy, loving attentiveness towards yourself, present moment awareness, and really appreciating all the wonders of life and embracing, all the learning experiences that are coming. Make everything a conscious choice, your conscious choice. If you want to learn more, come to the transCODES website. We have an online learning program. We have individualized VIP programs with which we apply energy coaching as well as meta learning, transmissions, energy work in many different ways. We have an ongoing program like an energy gym in our hard warrior program to go through continual training to build cultivate a discipline of this. You can also just book energetic clearings that help you to kickstart all of this, or just sign up for energy coaching sessions that help you to identify your personal roadmap and how to practically embody this. All right, so many different ways how you can enter this deeper self-discovery and metamorphosis now. Wonderful opportunity, to embrace the growth. Very excited about hearing about some of the fortunes maybe that are coming in for you, these sudden unexpected cool things, or, some of the challenges that you had to face, some of the fears that you had to overcome, some of the shadow stuff that you had to clear. Here at transCODES, we have a whole smorgasbord of public sessions that you can sign up for to actually work with us. We also, of course, invite you to come to all the Sunday Truth Talks live on Facebook, or then a little bit later on YouTube. And the daily meditations that we do for free on Skype. So you see, there is so much that we can explore, that we can learn and cultivate and learn to appreciate. You do not need to be afraid of this. See you soon. Thank you, guys.